Hi felters and welcome. Today I'm going to answer the question, what is core wool? I find that a lot of people start needle felting and they hear this term core wool and they're not sure what it means. Basically, core wool is a cheaper wool that you use on the inside of a project when you're building it up. When I started this pumpkin, I used a lot of core wool in the middle and then I used the more expensive wool on the outer area. So core wool will just save you money. It comes in several different types. So just to go through, we'll go from the cheapest all the way up to the slightly more expensive core wool, but it's not that expensive anyway. So the first thing that a lot of people use for the cheapest is something you would find inside of toys. It's a polyester or a synthetic type stuffing. It's quite slippery, it's quite hard to get into a shape. Some people put them in tights and then tie it up and then that keeps its shape, and then you put the wool over the top to keep it in. You can felt it. I don't use it that much. You can needle felt it, but it's a little bit harder to work with, but it's definitely very cheap. Then similar to that is you could just go and look in one of your old cushions or a pillowcase if you've got one lying around, and I pulled this out of that one and it's actually got bits of curls in it, so it is a wool. It's a bit easier to felt, and again, if you've got old cushions lying around, it's not going to cost you anything, is it? So that works really well. I do know there's a duvet company that supply the stuffing in bulk bags. I think it's called Baviat, and I know a lot of people use that one as well, and that works quite well. So another thing that people use for core wool is literally balls of wool, especially if you've got lots hanging around. Again, you could put that in tights, but you'd bunch it up really tight, put the tights around it, and then you would have to put wool on top of it. I don't think that will felt too well if you went straight into it. You're still going to have to use another layer of wool over the top before you use your final layer. Next up, this is what I use an awful lot of because I buy fleeces and I wash them. This is actually a valet fleece, and this is the stuff that I cut the locks off and I couldn't use, but it's perfect. It smells lovely as well because I know I washed it all really well, and that's fantastic, and it felts quite well. And then I put a bit more of a white wool on top and that keeps it all smooth and in shape. So any fleeces, the bits that you can't use, say you can just buy a fleece if you want, but it's a lot of work. Wash it yourself, and then you can even card it. I'm going to do a video on carding, and it's a very cheap way, but it's quite hard work to wash wools yourself. So that's that one. And then next up, this is just, actually I think this one is a Dorset horn bat. So this whole thing cost me I think £5.25, and I would definitely use some of that because I'm trying to use it up, and then put a bit of this over the top, and that would keep it in nicely, and then put my final colour over. So this comes, a bat is a huge big flat piece that's rolled up, and I'm quite good at working with that. But if you're not good with the big long flat bit, the big wide flat bits, this is nice and long and thin. This is a slither, and then you can wrap it round and work with it quite easily if you're struggling with the big wide bats. So the last thing as well, which I do sometimes, is you can also use any wools that you don't like that you've got hanging around. I have this red, I don't really use it for much else. I did some ladybirds, and I could definitely use that for the inside of things. So if you've got any wools that you don't like and don't want to use, just put them in the middle. And the other thing with that is just bear in mind, if you're going to do any reverse felting, which is where you get the needle and it pulls stuff out, it will pull the red out onto the top layer. So just be careful if you're going to reverse felt anything. So just to give you an idea, places, the best way to find core wool, honestly, is if you're not going to go for the polyester or the stuffing or your own wool or wash a fleece, just go to any of your wool suppliers. We've got the Makers, Fuzzy Felts, Feltbox, Living Felt. Those are some of the ones that I know on the internet, but the one that I actually use is World of Wool because their prices are, for me, they're excellent for the wool that I want. So like I said, this one is a Dorset horn or a Corridel, I can't remember which one, and that was £5.25, and I get about 4 or 5 of those and they last me quite a long time. And the slithers, I think this was £1.95 per 100 grams, so just go and have a look on their website. I think they even do a cheaper slither at £1.50. They're just brilliant, and they're great quality, and they felt really well, really quick, because if you have something in the middle and you're going to try and felt it, I think this slippery polyester stuff would take quite a while. It's not my most favourite thing to do. So in short, go to your felt supplier that you use and look up core wool, or ring them and ask them what their core wool, cheapest wool available is. And that's all it is. So I hope that's helped. Please do put in the comments any core wool that you use from other suppliers or that you know that is good value, so that we can help everybody out. And that's it. Thanks for watching.